Yo, it's Derek. I know many people can say the same, but I absolutely love Dragon Ball. I see Goku punch the bad guy really hard and I applaud with a smile on my face. It's entirely possible that many series I like now would never have come to be without Dragon Ball's existence as well. Akira Toriyama's influence really cannot be understated. Being the lead artist behind Dragon Quest, being essentially the father of JRPGs, and the creator of Dragon Ball, possibly the most influential manga series of all time. If you loosely mix those two ideas together, you get Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, a JRPG about Dragon Ball. I know I'm not amazing at segues, so I'll just be upfront with you. I'm just here for a good time and the achievements that Dragon Ball Z Kakarot has to offer. Since that's my main focus here, I want to make it clear that I will not be playing any of the DLC content. There are no achievements that require DLC, so I just won't engage with them. I haven't even bought them as of writing this. That means no Super Saiyan God, no Super Saiyan Blue, no, whatever else I can get from those expansions. Anyways, after choosing to play on hard because I myself am a mighty Saiyan warrior, I've got to take on Piccolo for some mental image training. Immediately, I can quickly explain how combat works. You punch your opponent really hard until you win. After Goku succeeds in his little mental image training sesh, I'm forced to walk at a pace fitting for a 3-year-old like Gohan here. I'm also loaded up with tutorials. Picking up items, fishing, cooking, Z-orbs, soul emblems, and by extension, the community board are all explained to me well enough. But for the sake of this video not being cluttered or just losing its point, I will likely not be talking very deeply about a few systems here. The aforementioned soul emblems and community board, for example, is an entire aspect of DBZ Kakarot's progression that has no notable impact on any achievements. Sure, it makes me stronger for fights or improves my cooking ability, but it's just that. A nice little bonus to systems that I will actually be talking about. Maybe. Anyways, along with my introduction to cooking, I also unlocked the Z Encyclopedia, just in case you really wanted an okay model viewer or a surprisingly well done relation chart for each saga of DBZ, it's all in here for your viewing pleasure. Bringing Gohan to Kame House so he can meet some of Goku's pals opens up a couple more incredibly easy achievements for me. One, having me complete a sub-story with intense gameplay where I talk to a couple characters and pick up a single item. The other having me do my first training to unlock a new super attack. Aside from skill tree progression, the only thing preventing some future supers from being unlocked is a little currency called D-medals. You can get these little things by finding them in select locations in the overworld, reaching milestones on the Z Encyclopedia, yada yada. What's important is that my completionist nature will lead me to getting over 100 of these throughout my playthrough very easily. The D stands for Derek, by the way. Finally, I can summarize some plot here. Okay, shifting the point of view over to Piccolo for a sec. Uh-oh, he's sensing some strong presence nearby and it's a long-haired fella named Raditz. I'd love to give Raditz a beatdown, but as the first real fight of the game, I really feel my difficulty selection here. But only for one fight. You see, this game provides you with a healthy sum of money. This is an RPG, of course, so money can be used to buy healing items. A cool little thing about healing items here is that they can be used with very little restriction. You can use as many in battle as you have in your inventory. Each item is used instantly, and has no time to wait before they can be used again. Combat is almost immediately trivialized by these things, and I don't feel bad about it at all. If it was some specific attack that acted like a wonder tool in any situation, sure, I'd try not to use it constantly, but this is something that could have very easily been prevented. Just slap a cooldown on healing item use and bam, you're good. Even life gems in Dark Souls 2 aren't this bad. Back at Kame House, Raditz shows up to tell Goku, or in this case Kakarot, that he's his older brother and they're part of an alien race called the Saiyans, and who am I kidding? The average person watching this knows what's going on. Gohan gets abducted, Goku and Piccolo come to terms to kill the underused Raditz, sacrificing Goku and showing some of Gohan's potential in the process. Uh-oh, part 2. 2 more Saiyans are showing up on Earth in a year. Everybody trains up, including Goku under his new mentor King Kai, then Nappa and Vegeta finally arrive. Goku's not quite back to the land of the living yet, but for now I have no choice but to fight. While going against Nappa, I discover the unmatched power of Krillin's Solar Flare. It's just a guaranteed stun, but in a game that I'm sure will become just unfair rather than difficult in an interesting way, I see myself getting plenty of use out of that. Before Goku can arrive, all but Krillin and Gohan unfortunately meet their end, all of them dying for the sake of another in some way. Unless we're talking about Yamcha's whole arguably the most iconic death in fiction thing. Goku's finally here to break Nappa's spine, but Vegeta's got no use for a Saiyan that can't move. So say goodbye to Nappa. And yes, I did use my playthrough as an excuse to do bad impressions of Dragon Ball characters. What of it? I then punched Vegeta really hard. He turns into a Great Ape and I punch him even harder with the power of Goku's fancy new Kaioken technique. He gets flattened by Gohan's Great Ape form and it's a win for the Z-Fighters. Goku insists that Krillin spares Vegeta's life for the sake of a good fight later. Vegeta escapes and that's the Saiyan saga all done. There is a little intermission segment between each saga, however, so there's some stuff I need to get out of the way before Frieza's on the menu. First off, I make my first full course meal. I'm basically just repeating the in-game tutorial here, but full course meals are consumables you can make out of individual meals if you have the necessary meals and the recipe for the specific full course you're trying to make. Chi-Chi is the only character that can make full courses, so if I'm looking for a big boost, it's back to home sweet home for me. The last thing to note before starting the next saga is completing my 10th sub-story. I also ended up unlocking 200 entries in the Z Encyclopedia during the intermission, and I got a telepathic message from King Kai. I'm gonna be honest, you can probably get both of these to happen, as well as their, for lack of a better word, more difficult versions through a standard playthrough. I have no real idea what exactly causes King Kai to say something to you, and unlocking entries in the Z Encyclopedia seems to happen so naturally, I'm convinced you can't beat the game without getting the demanded 400 for the next tier of this achievement. On to Namek to gather their Dragon Balls. Surely Vegeta wouldn't cause any problems there, and there won't be an even bigger threat that Goku has to show up fashionably late to once more. Achievement-wise, the Frieza saga is dry. I got 2 achievements total through maybe 5 to 7 hours of gameplay, counting the one for finishing the saga. The fights I get into are generally what you'd expect too. If I'm not on the offensive and pumping out as much damage as I know how, I'm blocking or evading attacks. If I'm not blocking or evading, I'm just straight up getting hit. But that's not an issue since these healing items are the greatest gift I could ask for. Let me get some decent background footage for you real fast. This is sort of what I was afraid of while playing DBZ Kakarot. Turning this style of gameplay into an interesting video would be challenging. It doesn't help that I either handle the story as I am now, going very light and expecting you to fill in the many gaps there are, or to just be here for my thoughts on the achievements themselves. Or I explain the entirety of a manga with 324 chapters, 519 if you include Dragon Ball and not just Z. That's actually part of the main reason there won't be another part to that Persona 3 Portable video I made however long ago. I don't like how I wrote that video whatsoever. It was so much nothing, and let's be real, who's coming to a channel with a 3-digit subscriber count to hear rambling about every little detail in a 100-hour RPG, or any game for that matter? Even writing this part right now feels wrong for how I tend to like my videos to be structured, but out of all sagas to bring this up in, why not have it be the one with one not forced achievement? To start off my very light plot summary, all you gotta know is Frieza's as evil as they come, and Vegeta's been taking down plenty of Frieza's goons and bringing up the legend of the Super Saiyan. Vegeta keeps claiming to be that, but even so, he starts shaking in his boots when the Ginyu Force shows up. Luckily, Goku shows up in time to take down most of them. Now the only threats left are Ginyu and Frieza himself, and after some body swapping nonsense ending with Ginyu being more embarrassed and amphibious, Frieza's the last hurdle, and a very tall one at that. Vegeta's last words are used to tell Goku about how Frieza was the one who destroyed the Saiyan planet, Planet Vegeta, and therefore most of the Saiyan race. Sure, they were a violent bunch, but Frieza's not exactly a beacon of kindness himself.
Goku! Dare you! You're gonna pay for that! What?
God, Dragon Ball's so good. With Goku actually being the Super Saiyan now, Frieza's got no choice but to put the planet on a Metroid escape sequence 5-minute timer. Cool, but after some thinking, I decided it would be best to punch Frieza really hard. Unfortunately, I can't play as Goku in his new fancy transformation in this intermission, so I'm stuck with my second best choice for now. This intermission opens up a whole new system for me, the Dragon Balls. Throughout the world, all 7 Dragon Balls can be located very easily on the map. If I go out and collect all 7, I get a wish. What else did you expect? Briefly going back to the soul token and community system stuff earlier, something I find really fun is how the game handles getting soul coins for dead antagonists. You can actually wish them back to life with the Dragon Balls, find them in the overworld, then complete a sub-story with them. These sub-stories are typically just fighting them again and convincing them to settle down a bit, but it's still neat. At some point during this intermission, I remembered I got some side quest mini-objective type thing from Master Roshi near the beginning of the game. I never paid them much mind, so don't ask me what most of these challenges entail. But I completed 50 of them throughout the first 2 sagas of the game, I guess. 3 easy achievements for me. Another easy one to knock out requires me to destroy a boulder that's blocking a cave. These are just locked behind character level, and by now I could take out a few, but that's not quite the full 10 I need for the last tier of this achievement. I'll get to them later, don't worry about it. Right before I get to the Android Menace, I want to take a little time out of my day to grind 50 instant victories. All you gotta do is be a high enough level to trivialize a given enemy encounter, boost into them, and bam, instant victory, no hassle. My personal choice for where to do this is barely north of Goku's house. Plenty of enemies at about level 31 that stand no chance against a mighty level 39 Gohan. I also discovered that this is possibly the easiest way to farm Z-Orbs, so upgrading each and every possible party member won't really make me go out of my way too much. Just, another aspect of the game I don't have to pay any attention to. Okie dokie. So, while waiting on Goku to arrive, Frieza and his dad are about to kill everyone on Earth, but Trunks shows up from the future to prove that not just Goku can become a Super Saiyan. He embarrasses them, and now I can skip right to the good part. Right after I unlock Research and Development. I would make a hover car and bipedal robo-walker if I knew where to find these axle shaft M's, but for now I can at least make some sort of machine part. Throughout my playtime, I've been breaking every boulder I can as I find them, and finally break my 10th now that I'm almost halfway to level 100. These boulders can absolutely be a pain to find, even when considering you can sense them out, but most of the time you'll find one and oops, it's well over your level, so you can't do anything about it until you're through a saga or two later in the game. Hopefully you remember where the boulder is in about 10 or so hours of playtime. Honestly, I'm playing this up a bit, but something that actually deserves extra attention is the rarest achievement in the game, which asks you to make 5 unique full-course meals. Yes, it means specific, even though the achievement doesn't clarify that. I tried earlier. It's so strange to me that this is the rarest achievement of the bunch, but I guess it makes sense when you have a little context. Aside from the first one, you have to go out of your way to get recipes for any full-course meal you want to unlock from random NPCs around the world. And on top of that, each full-course meal requires at least 3 standard meals to create. Even while playing on hard, I have yet to use any meals of any kind for the sake of anything, really. It was either forced for a tutorial or part of getting this achievement. This is just a good example of the average person not engaging with many unnecessary pieces of content, I guess. Just don't be lazy and collect some ingredients, and you too can have the rarest independent achievement in Kakarot. Now it's on to the good part. Our heroes have been training to take on the bio-android Cell. Gohan and Vegeta have both also achieved Super Saiyan by now. Other than our main group of heroes, the one and only world champion Hercule Satan is here to give Cell the what for.
Oh, you're here.
Alright, let's just cut to the chase. Gohan reaches Super Saiyan 2, Goku sacrifices himself to save everyone from a self-destructing Cell. Cell immediately regenerates and comes back, Father-Son Kamehameha. Nothing really notable happens during the intermission, so I'll just get right on track to the final saga. The Majin Buu saga is cool and all, aside from when it just drags on for most of its run, but allow me to introduce you to the final nail in the coffin in this game's difficulty.
Big Bang.
I know I sort of mentioned that I'd avoid using some super attacks that were a little bit overtuned if I found one, but my patience for Kakarot's combat is running thin pretty quickly now that I'm approaching the end. Before I can end the main story though, I somehow never bothered to finish a fight with a super finish until this late in the game. Literally all I gotta do is use something like a Kamehameha to finish an enemy while surging. Usually players seem to do this just before the end of the Cell saga, but I just never really thought about it much, I guess. I just assumed I would have naturally done it at some point, but apparently I'm not playing normally. A bunch of fights later, including one as Vegito against Super Buu, which is actually notable for Vegito himself, but we'll get there in just a sec. Kid Buu's obliterated by the Universal Spirit Bomb, and the main story is done! This is an RPG with a postgame, however, so there's still a tiny bit more to go. Before I can really get to the meat of the postgame, I've got a short checklist to work on. For one, I haven't been using Z combos much throughout my playthrough at all because they suck, so I need to just use a few more of those. All I have to do is have at least one other party member in use, fill up a little gauge, use the big flashy attack, and repeat until I get the nice little notification on my screen. You remember the parts I needed for those vehicles earlier, right? Well, I forgot too. Fortunately, I didn't have to search for those axle shaft M's. The parts shop just has them after a certain point in the story. I now have a robo-walker and hover car of my own. So just after a nice little drive around Holy Ground, I need to face the final challenge these achievements have for me to take on. In order to prepare, all I really need to do is unlock a useful little skill. As part of a post-launch update, 2 sub-stories got added. One of them gives you a skill to fuse Goten and Trunks into Gotenks outside of the story, and the other does the same for Goku and Vegeta to fuse into Vegito. The final fight in that sub-story might have had me running out of healing items, but it wasn't even close, I promise. I almost feel guilty for using Vegito at all. To put it lightly, Vegito feels accurate. It doesn't help that Vegito has a very specific super attack up his sleeve. Yep, it's back. All you have to do to win any fight now is use a team of Goku, Vegeta, and someone who can use Solar Flare, with my personal choice being Krillin. Use Solar Flare, fuse into Vegito, hold your ground and Big Bang attack until the cows come home. But like, they're really fast and well navigated cows because these fights take like not even 20 seconds. As the game has progressed, more and more of these villainous enemies have been popping up around the map. After you take down a set, another set of stronger ones show up. Then, after those, you can fight one final fight in an area to clear out the threat entirely. These fights are nice and all, giving you a healthy amount of Z-orbs and somewhat decent EXP, assuming you actually fight them when you're supposed to and not when you can use Vegito to one or two shot anything in the game. But that's neither here nor there. Once I finish off every villainous enemy, I can finally fight the final challenge this game has to offer. Mira from Dragon Ball Xenoverse. You'll never guess how I beat him. Alright, so live Mira fight commentary. Ultimate being, who cares? Skip forward. Alright, so solar flared. Hold on. Okay, so you get solar flared. Check this out. Solar flare immediately feeds a Vegito, and it's Big Bang attack time. And it's Big Bang attack time. And we're Big Banging attack. Doing the Big Bang attack once more. Check that damage. Check the damage. Already on the last HP bar. Uh-oh, he's hitting me. Time to hit him. I don't know why I went in for melee. I'm gonna be real with you. I keep on dodging, yada yada. At some point I probably hit another Big Bang. I keep on trying to hit a Big Bang, but he's like, oh, I'm gonna hit you, and then he does. It sucks. Uh-oh. Big attack. I get hit, and I block it, but my guard's broken. And if he hits me, that sucks. Doesn't matter. Skip forward. I hit him with something, I guess. Owie, my block. Alright, a little bit low on HP. That's scary. Oh, spoilers. Oh, Senzu Bean. I'm alive again. Doesn't matter. And Solar Flare. And free Big Bang attack. And the game's free.
I was hoping for more of a challenge.
Yeah, Vegito. Yeah, first B rank in the game, by the way. That would be every achievement in Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, but I still have to gather the Dragon Balls and summon Shenron a few more times. There's zero difficulty involved in that. It's just get the Dragon Balls, wait 20 real minutes, then get them again. It's very anticlimactic, but that is every achievement in DBZ Kakarot. Hey, this is Derek from probably the day before this video comes out. I'm in the middle of editing this right now, and I kind of realized that I never talked about the training room challenges. There are 10 levels of the training room you can upgrade to with some money and different materials. If you win any given fight, you get a pretty decent passive to unlock. I really don't care enough to do any challenges other than just the last one for its achievement and the ability to use the passive called Auto Super Saiyan, and you can probably guess how the big level 10 fight went. So really the resource gathering was more interesting than the combat, but even the resources just involved me only missing some meteorites I could easily find between the two caves found in the Land of the Kais. Now I have every achievement in the game. My bad. I mean, it's alright. I don't really have any strong issues with the game, but Dragon Ball Z Kakarot doesn't really do anything special, you know? This is one of the first times I've ended one of these videos on an almost disappointed note, I think. But saying I'm disappointed feels a bit too harsh as well. I guess I'm just very neutral here. Kakarot's an alright game if you want to throw someone into the general plot of Dragon Ball Z, and a good bit of the cutscenes for really big, important moments are pretty awesome, sure, but the game also just skips over some smaller but still fun or cool bits of the story, and some iconic scenes aren't quite given the justice I think they deserve. Vegeta's final flash against Perfect Cell, nowhere to be seen. The first showing of Super Saiyan Vegeta could have been a little more impactful. Vegeta saying that Kakarot is #1, I mean, that one's pretty alright. I think I just want to talk about Vegeta. This was definitely good practice for me writing-wise, though. Like I said, during the Namek Saga, this is such a strange game to make a video on for a handful of reasons. But I hope you enjoyed it, even just a little. If you want to give me some money so I can play video games for a living, I have a Patreon and other things linked in the description. I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.